I joined the Air Force during the Vietnam hump, which is in 1967, but my dad was in the Air Force and he'd served overseas in World War II and he'd survived, and my brother was a cook and he told me how wonderful it was. Conscription was at its height and I wasn't going to join the Army, so I put in for the Air Force. When I joined the Air Force, our latest state of technology would have been the Mirage fighter. The Sabres were still around, the Vampires were still around, and when I left the actual Air Force to go to the museum, I was working on F-111, so I'd seen the rise in our technology from subsonic through to supersonic, and being a technician working on those aircraft was very interesting. It was rewarding, and it got me around to see a lot of the world. Just one of those things that I grew up with, and I just loved it. I just enjoyed the life. I just enjoyed the life. As a director and now the Air Force Curator, every day is different. I never had any trouble getting out of bed coming to work. It was just great. There was always something to do, there was always something to fix, there was always something to refine and do it better. I'd worked on most of the aircraft in the museum when they were operational, and I've worked on them since, looking after them in the museum, and I'm quite proud of that fact. You've got to stop and think, I'm not in the RAAF, I'm talking to somebody that knows nothing about the RAAF. You've got to get the message across that when people walk into here to look at the museum, they walk out here knowing what the RAAF's all about. The displays have got to be personal. You've got to be able to tell that, you've got to get that across, that we're not a machine. We're real people doing a real job, and we like it. And to do that, you've got to do that through the displays. If you can't get that through the displays, you might as well read a book. Air Force will be 100 years old this year, and the history is great. It's the second oldest Air Force in the world. It was the fourth largest Air Force after the Second World War. It is a history that we should be proud of. We've got to be proud of our history. You learn from history. If you don't, you're going to fail. It's one of those things, I suppose, that when the time comes, I'll just pack my bags and walk out the door and say, well, I did all that.